Sisters, Part 1. Bottle and a cap, fiddle and a bow, sprinkles on ice cream and Christmas with snow. We go together like sisters, 'cause that's what we are. My name is Angeline, I always keep my nose clean, and my name is Annabelle, I'm the one with all of the brain cells. Annabelle had hoped that tonight would be different. It was Friday, and the bar was packed for once. But as they sang, they got the usual uninterested stares. Still, a performer knew to keep smiling until the end, so she didn't let the crowd see her disappointment. That was never a problem for Angeline, of course. Whenever she performed, she went into a different world, and she was the only one who existed. Well, generally for Angeline, she was the only one who existed. After the show, they got the usual light applause, and they were quickly led off stage. Angeline smiled like an angel as always, and went to the bar to buy them some drinks. Of course, she didn't manage to order any before some men showed up to buy them for her. Annabelle waited behind. Angie would accept every drink offered and give half of them to Annabelle. Anna couldn't be mad. Angie was beautiful, with her silky blonde hair and smile like the sun. But it still hurt. If just one person came up to compliment Anna's singing or songwriting skills, she might feel okay. But Angie got all the compliments, whether about her beauty or her singing voice. It was mostly just flirting, of course, but Angie drank it up like a dying man finding water in a desert. "Can I buy you a drink?" Anna ignored the voice, thinking it must have been directed at someone else, until she realized the man was talking to her. He was a short guy, with balding brown hair and tired eyes. He looked like he worked 80 hours a week. Not the kind of guy you usually found in this small-town bar. "Sure," said Anna, pleased to have any kind of attention. "I'll have a martini." The man laughed and shook his head. "You really are a traditionalist, huh?" "What do you mean?" "I'm guessing you wrote the song. I mean, your sister almost forgot the words halfway through." Anna smiled weakly, and she did sometimes get lost in the music. "Yes, I wrote it." "You're clearly talented. I like the part about keeping your nose clean." He sneezed theatrically. "Achoo!" "But it's very... well, I guess old Hollywood is a nice way to put it. It's very Clooney and Vera Ellen." "And which one of us is Vera Ellen?" The man laughed. "Ha! I see you know your history. Well, let me get that drink." Anna felt sick as she waited. This was just the kind of man she did not want to talk to. He pretended he was complimenting her, but really he was insulting her. Well, she wasn't going to smile and be nice like Angie. The man handed her the martini glass, and she took a big drink, and then said, "Listen, I don't come here and perform to be insulted by short, balding men who look like they've been divorced 3 times. Thank you for the drink, but this conversation is over." She turned to walk away, but the man spoke. "I was going to make you an offer." She froze. "What kind of offer?" "The Hollywood kind. New Hollywood, that is. That's my job, finding rising stars." Anna's face burned. She so badly wanted to keep her pride, to walk away and never come back. But she had to know. So she turned around. "I'm listening." "Look, you're clearly both talented, but you're the brain cells and she's the, sprinkles on the ice cream, shall we say?" Anna almost wanted to defend her sister against the insults, but it was true. "So that's why I'm talking to you. With your songwriting skills and her looks and voice, you could break into the pop market. I know it's not the kind of song and dance you love, but her voice? We wouldn't be singing together?" He shook his head. "It's a different time. Solo artists are way more successful these days. Look, I know your type. You're in this for the art, right? But I bet that right now, you're working some terrible minimum wage job and living in a tiny apartment, and if this singing thing doesn't work out, you're eventually gonna have to quit. Anna said nothing because it was true. Her and Angeline shared a small apartment where Anna could hear every word spoken between her and her male visitors. Not to mention the bills were piling up. Nobody wants to give up on their art, but we've got to be realistic. Did you know that songwriters make more money than singers? You can do it for a few years, save up, buy a nice house in the Bahamas, and go back to singing your show tunes. You really think we could be that successful? I know talent when I see it. Here, take my card. Call me if you decide you want to see the world. The man handed her his business card. Harry McElroy. By the time she looked up, he was gone. Behind where he'd been standing, she saw her sister, laughing and chatting with 3 men. Oh, you'll come to our next show? What a gentleman. Anna knew it was all lies. The men only wanted to come to her bedroom, not her shows. Angie knew it too, but she didn't care. She didn't need success like Anna, just some nice compliments here and there, and when that got boring, some more direct flirting. Well, Anna was sick of it. She drank her martini, waited for her sister to get bored, and then suggested they go home. In the taxi, which they could barely afford, but Angie hated getting the bus, Angie fell asleep on Anna's shoulder. She really did look like an angel. Anna held the business card in her hand, reading it again and again like it might change in front of her eyes. Money wasn't everything, but it was sure better than what she had now. I told you, Annabelle! Butterfly Head is a big hit! You can say sorry now. The 3 of them, Annabelle, Angeline and Harry, were sitting in the recording studio. Angeline's first single, Butterfly Head, had just come out and was climbing the charts. Oh, Anna, can you believe it? Said Angeline. She pinched herself on the arm, said, ow, and then laughed like a little girl. Anna and Harry had fought through the whole songwriting process. Butterfly Head was a stupid, simple song about a girl who thought about the man she loved every time a butterfly landed on her head. Each flap of its wings was like the beat of her heart, so delicate it might break. Anna tried to write more intelligent lyrics, putting in references to the life cycles of butterflies, but Harry cut most of them. Look, it's a pop song. It has to be easy to sing. Metamorphosis is too long. But now, seeing how well the song was doing, and seeing Angie's childlike behaviour, Anna realised it was perfect, and the check she'd received that morning wasn't bad either. So what's our next song? Said Angeline. Something with the 2 of us? Angie still hadn't realised that she was a solo act. Anna couldn't bear to tell her, and Harry treated her like a child, never revealing the whole truth. Oh, I think we'll want the follow-up to Butterfly Head, said Harry, touching Angeline's arm where she'd pinched it. Something about being in love instead of falling in love. Anna said nothing, but she felt like several butterflies were being born inside her stomach. Harry was flirting with Angeline. At first, she thought she was just being jealous, but she realised she was in no way attracted to this man. It annoyed her because it was unprofessional. Besides, she was the one whose talent had attracted Harry in the first place, wasn't she? But of course, Angie was the one receiving all the compliments, as always. I've been doing some planning, actually, setting a few things up. We'll release a few more singles, and then... And then? Said Angeline, her eyes wide open. Harry leaned over and whispered in her ear. Anna wanted to scream at them to stop acting like children. Angeline gasped, and her eyes shone. Anna, did Harry already tell you? We're going to go on tour! Each single was more successful than the last. Angeline quickly became one of the biggest pop stars of the moment, and everyone was talking about her. Some complained that she didn't write her own songs, but nobody cared very much. Most pop stars didn't. The important thing was that she was pretty. It also helped that she had a great voice. As they released more music, Haii allowed Anna to experiment more with the lyrics. And sure enough, people liked her more serious, intelligent style. Music critics praised the songs, calling Annabelle Lady Gaga meets Fiona Apple. It was the kind of compliment Annabelle had dreamed of. Only it was going to Angeline and not her. For Angeline's latest song, Tears on a Broadsheet, Anna was called into the recording studio. They got her to record the whole song, as well as the harmonies, and she thought this might end up being a duet. But when she heard the final version, she realised they'd mixed her voice with Angeline's, having her cover up the lower notes that Angie struggled to hit. When she asked Haii about it, he just said, "It's normal in the industry. Your voice is similar to hers, but you hit those low notes with soul. Look, aren't you just happy to be on a song?" They did put her name on the CD, but only in very small letters, far beneath Angeline's. Annabelle was secretly furious, but she said nothing. Angeline was so happy about the tour, and she couldn't bear to ruin it for her. They performed throughout America and the UK. In fact, tickets sold so well that they extended the tour to Europe, travelling to places Annabelle had always dreamed of. Angeline barely got to leave the tour bus, always preparing for the next show or recovering from the last. Besides, when she did go outside, she was surrounded by fans. Annabelle, on the other hand, was invisible. At first, she loved this. She had the time and the space to explore all the places they visited, and one evening, she even skipped the concert and went out to a bar in Vienna. Wearing her new leather jacket and drinking expensive champagne, she began to feel relaxed for the first time in years. "Also, was machst du hier, Schönheit?" Annabelle smiled at the man. "Sorry, I'm American." He laughed and sat down next to her. "No problem. You must think I'm some awful tourist." "Oh no, not until you start telling me how much you adore Sisi." Annabelle laughed. She had her own Empress of Austria to deal with back in the tour bus. She opened her mouth to make such a comment, but hesitated. Until now, she'd only been around Haii, Angeline and the crew. She hadn't spoken to anyone who didn't know who she was. She decided to be casual. "Actually, I'm here with the Angeline tour." "Oh, that pop star? My sister really wanted tickets, but they sold out so fast. So what are you, a sound engineer?" "No, I write the songs." He laughed as if it were a joke. Then he realized she was serious. "Really? I don't know. I guess I just expected some short, fat man in his 40s. Angeline forced a smile. "Nope, I write all the songs. We're sisters, actually." "Okay, now I know you're joking. Tell me the truth. What are you, an accountant?" Annabelle wasn't sure if this was some cultural misunderstanding, a difference in American and Austrian humour, but she felt all the colour disappear from her face. "Sure, I'm an accountant." She finished her champagne and returned to the tour bus. Suddenly, Vienna didn't seem so fun anymore. After the tour, Anna made Haii give them some time off. Angeline couldn't say no to anyone, especially Haii. In fact, they'd been getting very close over the past few months, and their flirting had gotten more obvious. Whenever they had the chance, he took her to a recording studio to work on a secret project. Yeah, right, thought Annabelle. She knew exactly what kind of secret project that was. But Anna was tired, which meant Angie must be exhausted, so she convinced Haii to give them a few weeks off. Anna had planned on going home and visiting their parents, but Haii insisted that they visit one of his beach houses in Malibu. "Listen, you're stars now. You've got to start living like it. And I hate it when my house is just sitting there empty." And sure enough, the house looked like it had come straight off Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Angeline immediately ran around like a child, pulling off all her clothes and jumping in the pool. Anna told her to watch out for the paparazzi, but there was no stopping her sister. After several days of lazing about on the beach, eating seafood and sleeping in, Anna got bored and said that tomorrow they were going on a hike. Angeline complained, but she knew what was good for her, so she agreed. The next morning, they put on their new hiking shoes, which they'd had to order online, and left for the hike. It was lovely and cool this early in the morning, and the sight of the sun rising over the sea took Anna's breath away. They hiked over the coastal paths, Anna stopping many times to wait for Angie to catch up. After a few hours, they took a break, sitting on a cliff that overlooked the sea. There, Anna decided to bring up something that had been bothering her for a long time. So, have you been texting Harry while we've been here? Oh, come on, Anna. If you want to say it, just say it. She always acted different when they were alone. The angelic smile left and she was more honest. The thing was, they hadn't been alone for months. Fine. Are you and Harry in a relationship? Is it a problem if we are? He's our manager. So? I'm good at keeping men where I want them. You know that. Oh, Anna knew that all too well. She stood up and stretched her legs. Have you had sex with him? Ugh! Anna jumped to her feet and spat on the ground. I knew this was coming. I've seen the looks you've been throwing at us. Why do you always have to be so jealous? Jealous? You think I'm jealous? Anna almost wanted to laugh, but Angeline looked dead serious. You are jealous, and I was trying so hard to help you at the start, to get you up on stage as well. But you have to fight for attention, Annabelle. You could have it, but you give up so easily. Fight for attention? I've been fighting all my life, Angie. You just never noticed. I talked to Harry for you, I asked him if you could come up on stage after one of the shows. He said yes. She smiled and crossed her arms as if she'd won the argument. That wouldn't happen, Angie, she said like a tired mother. This was all planned from the start. That was the deal I made with him when we met in that bar. He knew you were the pretty one with the voice of an angel. Even though you can't hit those low notes, but managed to stop herself. Look, I'm not mad. I make more than enough money. It's just hard when everyone's talking about how great your lyrics are when I'm the one who... The pretty one with the voice of an angel? Is that how you see me? I'm an artist too, Oh, won't you listen to me for one time in your goddamn life? Anna was so angry that she moved without thinking and pushed Angie. She didn't mean to push her so hard, just something to get her attention. But with all the stress and performances and workouts, Angie had lost a lot of weight, and when Anna pushed, she fell over like a stick. She didn't even have time to scream. Her face just looked up at Anna in surprise as she fell down the cliff. Her head hit a rock and made an awful noise, and then she disappeared into the ocean below. Annabelle had killed her. End of part 1. And I'll just introduce the vocabulary for part 2. Dye, D-Y-E, means to change the colour of something by using chemicals. In the past, dyeing fabrics to make clothes was a complicated process. People had to find certain insects and animals to produce certain dyes. Now, we can use artificial dyes to dye fabric any colours we want. More people dye their hair these days, although some people think dyed hair looks unnatural and ugly. Vocals, V-O-C-A-L-S, are the part of a song that is sung. So when you are editing a song, you'll mix together guitar, drums, and vocals, for example. Often, when a singer performs, they have backup singers who provide backup vocals. A synthesizer, S-Y-N-T-H-E-S-I-S-E-R, also called a synth, is a computer program that creates sound using technology. In the past, in order to record a song, you had to play an instrument in real life, but nowadays you can use a computer to synthesize the instruments. These days, there are even vocal synthesizers, such as Vocaloid, although most people prefer the sound of real singers' voices. When something cuts out, it stops suddenly. For example, if you're at a party and there's a problem with the electricity, the music might suddenly cut out. Nobody wants the music to cut out because it kills the mood.